my little Luxes. Welcome to another Charsie Chats, and I am your host, cosplayer Charsie Lux. And today I am a holiday zombie because we are finally into the month and the time of the year to celebrate LuxxxMas once more. And if you are a regular here on my channel, you would know that during the holiday season in the month of December, we love celebrating LuxxxMas here on the channel. Now, I originally kind of had the idea because there are a bunch of different... Let me get Callie here in just a second. Someone decided she had to come say hi, so tell everyone Merry LuxxxMas. Oh, that's quite the face. You forget I have makeup on, don't ya? Yeah. Callie definitely says hi. Hello! She hates being left out, and I just got done doing a movie review for my new channel for, I almost said LuxxxMas, luxxxycharms. Anyway, back on topic of what I was talking about. She's gonna go and scratch on something again and distract me. But that I had originally gotten the idea for LuxxxMas because a lot of different channels that I watched, that they would do different things called Vlogmas. So they were vlogging, and it was during the holiday season, so it became Vlogmas. And I'm like, you know, that'd be a really cute idea, but for me, since I am Charsie Lux, why don't I call it LuxxxMas? So, Merry LuxxxMas everyone, it is that time of year again, and today I am your happy holiday, jolly zombie, whatever you want to call me. Sorry, I'm going to be really weird in this one apparently. And like I said, I'm figuring things out. I'm hoping things are gonna go really, really well. I just got done doing a quick, well, in my mind, a quick movie review of the 2011 film Retreat by Carl Tibbets. So that will be going up on my new channel. I also got done doing my very first episode for Scary Stories My Father Told Me, and that one is The Mask of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm excited to see where things go. So we're trying to keep things lighthearted and happy.
And we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye.
Because like I had said at the beginning of the year, or middle of the year, whatever time frame it was, that last year at this time I was in a very dark place. And I have never felt that empty and that just, I can't even explain the feeling. And I had never gone through that type of form of depression before in my life. And I mean, I've dealt with seasonal depression and it's hit or miss type of thing, but this was on a whole new level. And that I won't go into full details. I have a Charsie Chats that was dedicated to me talking about what had gone on, what was happening, what was still happening with me, and that it just has been this internal struggle of me trying to find myself again, love myself again for who I am, and just trying to grow and better myself while also still forgiving all the toxic people who had been in my life and who had hurt me. And it just was this mixture of things that just having to deal with so much all at once. And like I said, I won't go into detail about it because I have a whole Charsie Chats that is dedicated to that. So if you are interested in knowing what I'm talking about, it is up on that episode. Callie, please don't pull on things. And so I'm sorry if this goes wibbly wobbly. I mean, it's standard on this channel, right? That my cats will hit the ring light and that's where my phone and camera are connected to. You're just along for the ride. So welcome. Let's enjoy this LuxxxMas season. And I figured I would do something just fun for this episode. For this first LuxxxMas episode, I'm going to talk about Christmas horror stories. And I'm getting all of these stories from different posts that were put up on the Reddit, and it's with the subtext of what's your holiday horror story. Few years back, I went to my dad's house for Christmas. My parents are divorced and I rarely go, but my siblings put a lot of pressure on me, so I went. It took about 15 minutes before the stress got to me and I got a migraine. That's the first warning sign right there. It's when your siblings or someone else in the family guilt trips you into going and you start getting sick and you're having a migraine. That's your body telling you that you shouldn't be doing that. And that's the signals that I've been learning for myself as well. So I'm probably going to start relating with this story already right off the bat. Remember, if you have a migraine or you feel ill and you're supposed to be going and doing something, just cancel.
Run, bitch! Run!
Oh dear, what is it? I've spontaneously combusted. Oh, I am sorry.
And you know what? If that family member gets mad at you for canceling, that's on them and their problem. Oh, Kelly.
A few moments later.
I didn't realize I was gonna trigger a memory for me there. Anyway, so we all sit down to open presents. Dad, his new wife, my siblings, crazy aunt, and my grandmother. Okay, so I'm already feeling it. I'm relating so much in this.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
We make it around the circle opening presents for about 2 rounds before my grandmother gets up and leaves the room. My father starts fiddling around waiting for my grandmother to come back and spots something on the floor. It appears to be cat puke. He asks his wife if it is indeed cat puke. She had gotten up and followed my grandmother out and knew the truth. It was not cat puke. It was my grandmother's poop. And the lady had pooped all over the couch. It doesn't take long before we can smell the poop, and no amount of air freshener was fixing that. Now I feel bad for the poor grandmother, because I mean, unfortunately, when you're older, you can't control your bodily functions and everything. So I feel for the poor grandma. So,
Oh God, oh man. Oh God.
Grandma comes back in the room wearing nothing but a blanket around her lower half. Oh my goodness. The couch is covered with plastic and towels. My little sister is forced to sit next to my grandmother. Well, your grandmother doesn't have the plague. Oh my God. Have some sympathy, because we are all going to be old people in the end, and we are all going to be pooping ourselves. So this one needed to be a little more sympathetic. My little sister is forced to sit next to my grandmother, and we are all expected to sit nicely and open more presents while pretending that my grandmother had not just pooped all over the couch. Also, the following day, my tooth exploded. Apparently, I had an abscessed tooth, but I never felt a thing at all until it exploded. This is one of those where, yes, it feels like a holiday horror story, but the wording in that, like, at the same time, I'm kind of feeling like this person who didn't want to be a part of the family might have a few toxic traits themselves, because the way that they're talking, they needed to be a lot more sympathetic for their grandmother. Now, obviously, we're not getting full context to the story. We don't know if the grandma is mean, and we don't know any other side to the story where that maybe the grandma in her head that this was poetic justice that this was happening. But the way that she's making it sound like they were forced to sit around their grandma who had just had an accident and carry on with the Christmas spirit. And it's like, that's what you're supposed to do. Your grandma was probably super embarrassed that this had happened. It's mortifying having anything like an accident like that happening. So if anything, the family needed to rally together to help grandma, help her feel more comfortable and everything. And I feel bad for reading this one for my first story, because it's like, I feel for the grandma. If this would have been one of those, like, am I the a-hole? Yeah, I feel like you're being the a-hole to your poor grandma in this situation. Another story. One time my family forgot to get me anything for Christmas. Oof, that's hard. A, I know, fuck me, right? And B, I was like, I think maybe at 20 at the time. I'm not looking for pity. Still though. I was home for the holidays. I had been on my own, i.e. living in an unbelievably shitty apartment 1 town away. So not too far away, so only one town away. Since I was 17 and due to I'm not sure what they tried to put for this word. Since I was 17 and due to, I'm gonna say, family whatever, I didn't see them much. But, so I was there. Me, my brother, my sister, and her boyfriend, who was living there. My mom collected strays. So there's a lot of family issues and complications here, and I'm feeling the direction of anger happening again. And my mother and stepdad. Christmas morn. Tree trimmed, stockings hung, the whole nine. Tradition dictated that we each took turns receiving a gift. Starting with the youngest, Sis. She gets a present. Her boyfriend gets a present. My brother does. My turn comes around. My mom loots around under the tree, but can't find anything. Okay, that's hard and harsh. My siblings joke about how I didn't get anything because I've been a bad little boy. My mom admits that there's less under there for me, but it's because I'm not around and they don't know what I need. Okay.
Bullshit.
That's a parent's problem and issue now at this point. It doesn't matter if you don't know what your child wants or needs. You can still go and get a present for your child. This is your child that you've had your entire life, and you don't know any interests that your child has. That's when you need to start putting in the initiative and figuring that out. That's not your child's responsibility to tell you what they want. When they're an adult, you're also an adult. You can buy them a present. Whew, I'm feeling for the kid in this one situation. Granted, she's 20 at the time, but I'm feeling for her in this situation. I tell her that it's fine to skip me that round. She gets a present. My stepdad gets one. Back to Sis, so they're going back around again. Back up the roster to me, nothing. My mom and stepdad start having furtive conversations along the lines of, "Did you? ? I mean, I thought we must have."
Liar!
I say it's fine. My mom insists that I am absolutely going to flip when I do in fact see the one that thing she swears must be. Wait, I say it's fine. 10 torturous minutes later, 5 people have small piles of loot they have silently accepted and placed down unwrapped in front of them. My mom is almost invisibly behind the tree. My stepdad is rooting around under the couch and behind the china cabinet. I'm sitting there, willing my grown-ass self not to cry. My mom lets out a whoop of triumph, brandishing a label-less cat mold package. She tells me that she's so sorry, shopping was an absolute nightmare, and that they owe me the one big thing they must have forgot, but in the meantime, I let the claw-marked wrapping fall away. Inside are a really nice pair of wool socks, with the name Brian sewn into the ankle. Brian is the name of my sister's boyfriend.
What? What the fuck?
I went upstairs to use the bathroom. After that, I lay on my brother's bed for a while. At some point, my mother came up and said that it was just a dumb accident and that it wasn't like they'd done it on purpose, and that would I just come downstairs and stop acting like a goddamn baby for God's sake.
No! God, please, no! No!
That's unfair. So the mother is disappointed in herself. She's upset that she forgot to buy a present for her child, and she's angry and taking it out on that child that she neglected to get a present for. So the fact that he's hurting upstairs, instead of comforting him and apologizing to him, she's telling him to stop acting like a goddamn baby for God's sake.
Bitch, what?
So I can understand why this person would not want to have anything to do with this family. Because at that point, she needed to take accountability and she needed to apologize, not start yelling at her child because she made the mistake and she hurt her child. And instead of taking accountability and looking at that, this is how she acted. I did and showed my brother how to get the battery into his MP3 player and went home and got high and watched Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I mean, perfect comfort Christmas film. That was the third worst Christmas I've ever had. So apparently this poor person has had a ton of terrible Christmases. So, and if this is how things happen for them, I can understand why they would have multiple terrible holidays. And you know what? It just gets to the point where you finally just say, you know what? I'm not going to go to family functions anymore. I'm not going to come to holidays.
No. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
I appreciate for my mom's side of the family that we've all kind of made the collective decision that we don't want to give gifts to each other anymore, because I just want to spend time with people. And my mom doesn't want all of us spending money that we could be using for bills and other things going on. And it's one of those things where I flat out told my mom, I'm like, the gift for me is just spending time with the family. Because you don't always get to collectively come together and to do things. And that's like, so let's just do a really big meal. Let's hang out together, maybe do Christmas movies and that kind of stuff. So it just became a collective thing that we all kind of agreed upon, like, let's not worry about gifts, because that's not what the holiday season is for us. That it's about us spending time together and just enjoying our company and the holiday spirit. Now granted, every family is different, just because I have other friends that do the really, really smart thing where they do the grab bag gifts, where they each put in their name and everybody draws out a name, and then you only have to worry about buying one present for that one person. So that is a really smart and intelligent thing to do as well, instead of having to buy a gift for everybody. And also it would be easier for this poor person where everybody would have had a gift, including them, because you would have drawn a name. But I can 100% understand why this person would be upset. And the mother was horribly wrong in this situation, that when he was upstairs by himself, rightfully upset, she should have A, left him alone to get out his feelings in that, or B, go up and apologize to him, not go up and yell at him.
Bye, bitch!
Anyway, we're going to the next story now. Ooh, we are joining the trigger train today, so... Oh my god, because, you know, holidays can be so much fun sometimes. What the fuck? The first Christmas my now ex-husband and I spent together, we decided to buy a real Christmas tree for our apartment. To cut a long story short, it transpired that the tree was covered in tiny black worms that fell out all over our sitting room floor.
No! Ow!
You would never get a real tree ever again. Those are those nightmares. I've heard of ones where people had bugs in the trees that would come out. I've heard of the nightmares of termites. Oh my god, black worms. Nope. In all my Christmases, I've never seen worms on a tree like that before. It was honestly horrible, and I don't really mind bugs or wormy creatures. We had to get rid of the tree ASAP, obviously. It was too stressful thinking of the worms continually dropping off the branches onto the floor. Yeah, as soon as I would have noticed that that's what the issue and the problem was, tree out the door. I mean, obviously you gotta get the decorations and everything off of it, but I mean, there would be a strong part of me that would just chuck the whole thing out there. And especially in the area I live in the Midwest, it gets really snowy, really cold. At least the worms would have froze out there, and you can carefully, if you leave it out on like a porch or a front deck or something, and then you can go out and take out the decorations, it would seem and feel maybe safer doing it that way, because ew, bugs, ew, worms.
No, don't like that.
I mean, no bueno. I would have never gotten a real tree ever again. This one is a very short one. So we'll see how gross it is, because it is labeled food poisoning on Christmas. A lot of these didn't have titles. I'm not sure why. I think because some of them are from accounts that are deleted, so any old titles and names were with it are gone. But this one has a title, and it's food poisoning on Christmas. What I thought was food poisoning on Christmas Day carried on for 2 more days. Then my son developed it. Oh damn, guess it was a viral thing. Ran a fever of 39 degrees Celsius. Hasn't eaten in 3 days and hasn't slept more than 3 hours in the same period. This holiday has been pretty ... crappy.
Ah, yes! My beautiful...
Well, we can take that for what it is. I mean, if you get food-related bugs or stomach flu, yeah. And a lot of people don't know this, that food poisoning actually can be contagious. I didn't know that. And that's kind of where food poisoning comes from. So, gross thing to think about. But yeah, anyway, that it kind of, I don't know what to call it, because it's a bacteria, something that makes you sick. Could have been actual food poisoning in the first place, and then his son ended up developing it from there. So anyway, another short one. This one also doesn't have a title. It's just every freaking year one of my family members winds up in a political argument with another one. It's almost a game at this point to see who it is and how long it takes before the subject is brought up, I'm sure.
Nope.
It's one of those things where I feel like we should get back to the old saying of, because my parents both grew up always saying like, hey, when we're at family events, don't bring up religion and don't bring up politics. It should just be an ongoing saying. And I'm to the point where it's like, I want to start reminding people, our voting ballots are private. We're not supposed to know what everybody's feelings in politics are. Yes, I get it for like really, really, really important things. Yes, obviously when we're talking about subjects of like abortion, human rights, and that stuff, yes, have your opinion and talk about it. But if we're gonna start labeling people like you're liberal and you're conservative and that, like it starts turning into this really bad gray area, and that's not what we're supposed to be about. We're all supposed to be a collective group together, and that we're supposed to come up with the ideas of that we're voting for who we want in the office, who we feel best represents the country. I'm American, so if you're from an outside country, I apologize, this will probably be very boring for you, but we're supposed to all work together. It's supposed to be an idea of a compromise. And we're also supposed to have the right as the people that if we feel like the people who are representing us and our senators and our president or any of them, if we feel like they're failing us, we can vote them out.
Get out! Okay. Get out!
We have that right. But we're so caught up in the media and everything else going on in social media that all we do is fight and bicker with one another. We're not collectively working together as a group. Now, obviously, I probably should take off my Santa hat and go put on a tinfoil hat.
Cooperation, because life is a team sport.
I'm to the point now it's all conspiracy theories up in my head where it feels like everything's done on purpose. We are all meant to fight with one another. Well, I mean, we're not meant to. We're being forced to fight with one another because everybody's opinions are thrown in our face, and it's not like a collective idea of us all communicating with one another, having a steady conversation and discussion about things. It feels like anger and hate. And anytime that somebody has an opposing view to somebody else, it's always brought in with the idea of saying, well, you're an idiot because you think that way, or you're stupid because you feel that way, or I can never listen to you because your views are conservative, or I'll never listen to you because you're so far liberal, blah, blah, blah. That's not the idea. So anyway, that put me on a weird tangent, talking about political arguments in family holiday season.
Stop it. Get some help.
But that's just, once again, this is my personal opinion, that we should get back to the ballots being private. Nobody should know who you're voting for, what your political views actually are, but they should know what your ideas and opinions and feelings are towards the important things. So anything that has to do with our economy right now. That's important stuff that we should be talking about and collectively working together to be like, hey, what can we do to make things better? Instead of being pitted against each other because we're so worried about who's on what side and who's on this party. We shouldn't care. We should all be on the same team here, and we should all be working together to make everything better. But guess what? Our government likes it when we're fighting and hate each other, and they like to incite this awful hate.
I want to go home. Like, I can't take the pressure of it. But don't you think any job interview...
So I'm gonna say that for this holiday season, how about we take back that old Christmas Carol feeling and think of, like, with Scrooge. Let's learn a lesson of, let's bring kindness back. Let's bring love and compassion back. So just my feelings and opinions for that right now.
God bless us, everyone.
Not really a family-related horror story, but my family went to Hawaii for vacation years ago. I was like 14, and on our flight back, one of the engines went out, so we had to turn back around, except we had to circle for like 3 hours to burn off fuel. The landing gear also was malfunctioning, so the landing was super rough. We finally got off the plane and were greeted by ambulances and fire trucks and shit. LOL. This is what they put.
What's up here?
We got escorted to a hotel and were given a free night and a free dinner though. So I guess it ended on a positive. Someone commented to that. That's traumatic though. Did you ever have trouble traveling or getting on planes after that? And you know what? I have a weird fear of flying in the first place. I was fine with it when I was younger, it didn't bother me, but as I got older, I guess just thinking of all the horrible things about what could possibly happen and just knowing some of the tragic things that have happened with plane crashes, I'm not so comfortable with it. If a situation like what happened to this person happened to me, there's no way I'd be on a plane again. And I get it. I mean, if you're going to Hawaii or if you're going to another country, you really don't have a choice. Flight really is the best thing and only thing that you can do. So I guess you'd be taking a really strong drug to just sleep the whole way so you're not worried. I don't know. But yeah, a situation like that would be traumatic.
And it's a no for me.
Well, I think I'm going to end it on that one. I will also say, if you are traveling for this holiday season to go visit family and friends, I am going to wish you well. I am going to wish you safe travels for sure. I don't want any of you to have any form of these kind of horror stories. Once again, thank you so much for joining me here on another LuxxxyCharms for another, technically LuxxxyCharms is now my movie review channel. I guess I gotta stop that. Thank you for joining me here on another Charsie Chats. Thank you for joining me and talking about holiday horror stories. And you know what? There was a lot of them that were triggering to me for different reasons, and obviously, as we all grow, we all have our own different versions and stories. Well, unless you have a very healthy family dynamic, maybe you have all good and positive stories. But either way, share some of your holiday stories with me in the comments down below. Obviously, I would love for you to share your nitty-gritty holiday horror stories. What are some of the worst events you've had to deal with dealing with family and friends? But if you don't have any holiday horror stories, share ones that maybe a family member or friend has shared with you, or share some of the good stories with me too. You know, let's balance it out with some good and some negative. I mean, we gotta have some good to balance out that bad with it. So, give me a bad story, tell me also a good story. Let's do both. Let's balance them out and have these stories. Because, you know, like I said before earlier, we need to spread some holiday cheer, some goodness, some positive vibes. So I will definitely keep spreading love and kindness for the rest of this month. I don't want to have what happened to me last year happen this year. So this little LuxxxMas Zombie definitely wants you to come and follow her on her other channels. We have our scary stories my father told me and my luxxxycharms, along with my Charsie Lux. And please come follow me on my other social medias. Please join me on my Twitter or my Blue Sky for Charsie Lux with 3 X's, or on my Instagram or Threads for Charsie87. And please also come join me and help me out on my Patreon for Charsie Lux. And you can see the names of the people that I'm shouting out that are a part of my Patreon. And remember, I am the afterlife, the party. But I would love for you to come and join me in the afterlife, the party, especially this LuxxxMas party here on the channel. And always remember to slay, subscribe, like, and always be yourself. Because in the end, all we truly have is ourselves. Until next time, my little Luxes, I hope you have a luxxycharms kind of day. Bye. My little Luxes, welcome to another Charsie Chats, and I am your host, cosplayer Charsie Lights.